Bobby Singh Shah is charged with capital murder for the shooting death of 21-year-old Muna Pandey. Court records revealed her own security camera provided some of the best clues in this case. ABC 13's Jessica Willie is live after speaking to one of the last people she talked to before her death.
She was young, vibrant and full of dreams, until one night a man from her past appeared at her door with a gun. Moments later, she vanished from the world forever. But how did a 21-year-old nursing student from Nepal end up the victim of an execution-style murder in her Houston apartment? And how did a tip from a sugar daddy website lead to the arrest of her alleged killer? This is the story of Muna Pandey, a promising student whose life was cut short, and the dark digital trail that helped uncover the truth. What you're about to hear is not just a crime story. It's a story that will make fear grip you, so you know people are so wicked and mean in this world. But first, hit that subscribe button, because these stories matter, and someone you know might need to hear this one. Let's begin.
Erica, court records state that Muna Pandey was murdered on Saturday, but it wasn't until Monday after an anonymous person called her complex here to report a body inside her apartment that she was found. An investigator saying that one gunshot wound was execution style. Police believe these two knew each other, but they don't know to what extent. The suspect seen on camera record state forcing her inside her apartment at gunpoint. Her boss says just 40 minutes earlier, she was locking up the cell phone store where she worked.
When Muna Pandey left Nepal in 2021, she carried more than just a suitcase. She carried the weight of hope for herself, for her family, and for the future they all believed she could build in America. She was just 21, but already relentless, driven, determined. She enrolled at Houston Community College with one goal in mind: nursing. A calling that to her meant more than a profession. It meant purpose. She wanted to help. She wanted to heal. She wanted to become someone her family back home could be proud of. But the American dream, while romanticized, is rarely simple. To make ends meet, Muna worked part-time at a Verizon wireless store. She'd spent her mornings in class and her evenings selling phone plans, never once complaining. Friends say she was always smiling, even on the days she barely had time to eat. In a city as large as Houston, it's easy to feel invisible. But Muna made herself seen. She connected with the Nepali community in town, attended cultural events, and formed bonds with other immigrants chasing their own versions of success. They say she brought warmth into every room she entered. She was soft-spoken, but full of fire. Dipendra Kunwar, a close friend, once said, "She would light up." When talking about her future, she had this energy, like nothing could stop her. But behind her glowing optimism, there were shadows no one fully understood, whispers of someone she feared, a man from her past, someone she tried to forget, someone she hoped would leave her alone. No one could have known then that those shadows were already beginning to close in. By late 2023, something in Muna Pandey had changed. Her smile lingered, but it didn't reach as far. Her laugh was softer. Her eyes watched the world more closely, as if they were waiting for something, or someone. A year before her murder, Muna confided in friends about a man who wouldn't stop contacting her, a man she'd distanced herself from, but who kept finding ways to reach her. She felt watched, unsettled, exposed. Then came the knocking. The unexpected appearances, the eerie feeling of being followed on her way home from school or work. She brushed it off at first, telling herself it was probably nothing, but deep down she knew better. Something wasn't right. She made the decision to install a security camera outside her apartment. She didn't wait for help. She sought it. Her close friend, Dipendra Kunwar, helped her set up the system. He later told reporters she wanted to feel safe. She was scared. I didn't realize how serious it was until it was too late. At times, Muna would joke about the camera like it was no big deal. But even her jokes couldn't hide the edge in her voice. The way she kept checking over her shoulder, the way she'd text her friends when she got home, just to say, "I'm inside, door locked." And then there were the nights she couldn't sleep. The ones where every sound outside made her flinch. Friends say she didn't speak often about the man who once haunted her inbox, but when she did, it was always the same sentence. "I don't know why he won't let go." Muna knew fear, but she kept going. She went to school. She went to work. She pushed through the tension, believing the worst was behind her. But she didn't know. The man she feared had already found her again, and this time he wouldn't come with texts or voicemails. He would come with a gun.
Her again.
So I was checking the cameras and she closed the store at 8:06. And then I texted her on Sunday at afternoon. So I was making my schedule for the week. I was like, "Do you want extra hours?" And she didn't respond. And then I sent her the schedule too, around 4 o'clock. She didn't respond.
August 24th, 2024 was a Thursday night like any other in Houston, Texas. The city buzzed in its usual rhythm, traffic lights blinking, neighbors returning from work, air conditioners humming against the heat. But behind one apartment door in a quiet complex, something terrifying was about to unfold. Muna Pandey was home alone in her small unit, likely unwinding after a long day of classes and work. Maybe she'd kicked off her shoes. Maybe she was scrolling through her phone, messaging friends, maybe planning her weekend. What she didn't know was that someone had been watching, waiting. At around 9:45 p.m., the security camera outside her apartment captured a figure moving toward her door. It was a man, bald, middle-aged, wearing dark clothing. In his hand, a gun. That man was later identified as 51-year-old Bobby Singh Shah. What happened next is brutal and terrifying. The footage shows Muna opening the door, perhaps not knowing who was on the other side, or maybe expecting someone she thought she once knew, but within seconds, Shah raises the weapon and forces his way in. Muna, just 5'2", stands frozen. He motions aggressively. She steps back. The door closes. And then, silence. At least on camera. But inside, chaos unfolded. Neighbors would later report hearing loud bangs. Some thought it was someone moving furniture. Others thought it was a heated argument. But no one called the police. No one knew what was really happening behind those walls. By the time the building grew quiet again, Muna Pandey was dead, shot multiple times. One bullet, investigators say, entered the back of her head, an execution style, killing that prosecutors would later call cold and calculated. Shah left the scene as quietly as he arrived. There were no alarms, no 911 calls, just a locked apartment door and a young woman lying lifeless inside. And for 2 days, no one knew. Not her friends, not her professors, not even her mother in Nepal. For 2 days, Muna's body would remain undiscovered until someone finally grew concerned enough to check. 2 days passed. Muna Pandey's phone went silent. No text messages, no posts, no replies to calls from friends who knew she never went more than a few hours without checking. And something felt off, deeply off. On August 26, 2024, the apartment's leasing office received an anonymous call. The person on the line asked them to check on the resident in Unit 2201. They didn't leave a name, just a quiet urgency. When management entered the apartment, they were met with stillness and a smell no one should ever have to encounter. Inside the unit, they found Muna's body. She was lying on the floor, face down, with multiple gunshot wounds. One to her back, one to her abdomen, one directly to the back of her head. The execution-style nature of that final shot left no room for doubt. This was not random. It was deliberate, planned. Police were immediately called to the scene. When investigators reviewed the apartment, they found no signs of forced entry, no sign of a struggle. Her purse and belongings appeared untouched. This wasn't a robbery, this was personal. But then came the break, the camera. Mounted just above Muna's door was the security camera she'd insisted on installing months before. A silent witness. And when detectives pulled the footage, what they saw confirmed everything. There he was, the man in the dark shirt, bald, calm, armed, walking straight up to her door and raising a gun before stepping inside. The timestamp read 9:45 p.m., August 24th. Investigators extracted every frame, every pixel, and sent it out across departments. The image was grainy, but clear enough to start asking questions. Who was this man, and how did he know Muna? Tips began trickling in. One from a woman who claimed she recognized the man from a dating website. Another from a member of the local Nepali community who remembered Muna mentioning an older man who had made her uncomfortable. It wouldn't be. Long before those tips gave the shadow in the footage a name, Bobby Singh Shah. The man in the camera footage didn't stay a mystery for long. After police shared the video, a woman came forward. She said she knew him, not from real life, but from a sugar daddy website. She said she had seen him before, using the same name, Bobby Singh Shah. From there, the pieces started falling into place. Bobby Shah was 51 years old. He lived in Texas. He had money, and according to people who knew him, he liked young women. A lot. Most of the time, he met them online, on websites where older men pay younger women for attention, company, or more. It didn't take long for investigators to connect him to Muna. He used to visit a restaurant where she once worked. Waiters there said he'd show up often, not just for the food, but to see her. Some said he even tried to talk to her. Others believed they had some kind of relationship. Maybe short, maybe secret, but something. Police now believe that's how it started. Muna met him through a dating website. Maybe she needed help with bills. Maybe she thought he was kind at first. But whatever it was, it didn't end well. Friends say Muna cut him off. She didn't want anything to do with him anymore. But Bobby, he didn't let go. He started following her, watching her, showing up places he shouldn't, and even though she never told many people about him, her actions spoke loud. She changed her routine. She added a camera to her door. She got quiet. Now police had a name, a face, and a motive. On August 28th, just 4 days after Muna was killed, police spotted a car during a routine traffic stop. The driver, Bobby Singh Shah. Officers noticed right away. He was wearing the same type of clothes seen in the camera footage from Muna's apartment. In the car, they also found a gun. They brought him in, and after looking at the footage, the evidence, and his connection to Muna, police charged him with capital murder. They also charged him for having a gun without a proper license. Shah didn't fight back. He didn't say much at all. When he was taken to court, the judge heard the full details, how he walked up to Muna's door with a gun, how he forced her inside, how she was shot multiple times, even in the back of her head. The judge decided he would not be given bail. That means he can't pay to get out of jail. He has to stay locked up until trial. In court, his lawyer didn't deny that he knew Muna, but they said more facts would come out later. The state, on the other hand, said this was a cold, planned murder by a man who couldn't handle being told no. Now Bobby Singh Shah sits in jail, waiting to face trial. And the world waits to hear everything that led to Muna's last night. On September 9th, 2024, just weeks after her murder, more than 100 people gathered in Houston to say goodbye to Muna Pandey. Her funeral was quiet but heavy. Some cried openly, some just stood in silence, but everyone there carried one thing: pain, deep pain. Muna's mother flew in all the way from Nepal. It was her first time in the United States, and the reason was every mother's worst nightmare. She didn't come to see her daughter graduate, she came to bury her. The community came together quickly. A GoFundMe page was created to help cover the cost of the funeral and bring Muna's mother to the US. In just days, it raised nearly $40,000. People gave what they could. Some gave a lot, others gave a little. But every dollar said the same thing. You are not alone. At the funeral, friends shared stories about Muna, her laugh, her kindness, how she always tried to help others even when she was struggling herself. Her college classmates spoke too, remembering how she pushed through hard times just to stay. In school, the Nepali community in Houston was hit hard. Muna wasn't just one of them, she was all of them. A daughter chasing a better life, a symbol of hope, and now a victim of something no one saw coming. People are still mourning, still asking why, and more than anything, still waiting for justice. Muna's story isn't just about one man and one victim, it's a bigger warning about the quiet dangers hiding in places we think are safe. Today, more and more young women meet older men through online dating sites. Some of those men say they want to help, they offer gifts, money, support, but sometimes what they really want is control. And when they don't get it, things can turn dangerous fast. Sugar daddy sites may look like they offer easy help, but they come with risks that people like Muna didn't always see coming. These sites rarely vet users. There are no background checks, no safety nets, and if something feels wrong, there's often no one to turn to. Muna tried to protect herself. She changed her locks, she put up cameras, she stayed quiet, but even that wasn't enough. So, what can we do? First, talk openly. Young people need to know that not every offer is safe, and not every gift comes without a price. Second, trust your gut. If someone makes you feel uncomfortable, walk away early. Third, use tools, cameras, location sharing, safe meetups, even keeping friends updated on who you're seeing. And finally, lawmakers need to act. Muna's death shows how easy it still is for predators to hide behind fake profiles and fake promises. There needs to be stronger rules, better protection, real penalties for men who stalk, harass, or harm women through these platforms. Because one thing is clear, Muna should still be here. Muna Pandey came to America with big dreams. She wanted to help people. She wanted to wear that nurse's uniform, send money home, and make her family proud. She worked hard. She smiled through pain. She kept going even when fear was living right outside her door. But her life was stolen by someone who couldn't let go, someone who mistook obsession for love, someone who thought if he couldn't have her, no one could. This isn't just a sad story, it's a warning for every young woman who thinks she's alone, for every friend who senses something is wrong but stays silent, for every system that waits until it's too late to act. If you or someone you know feels unsafe, speak up. Get help. Don't wait. There are people, hotlines, and organizations ready to support you. And if you see a friend pulling away, afraid or changing suddenly, check in. You might be the one voice that makes a difference. To honor Muna's memory, consider donating to groups that protect women, speak out about online abuse, or simply share her story. Her life mattered, and her story should never be forgotten. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe, because sometimes the most important stories are the ones that hurt to tell.